Well, hey everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. I'm shooting here today in my little Airbnb here in Pensacola, Florida. I've stayed in this rental probably, God, 8-10 times at least since I've been back in the States, but this is the first time I stayed in this room. It's a little bit bigger. And it was real comfortable. It was chilly, very cold here. It's nice to experience a little bit of winter after 18 years in the tropics, but unless there's circumstances beyond my control, I'm thinking this will be a one-time thing, doing winter in cold weather. I'll leave that to other people. Anyhow, today just want to talk about some practical everyday raw food diet tips. I do videos every day, so if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you take the time and hit that subscribe button now. Then click on that little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. Always important to hit that because sometimes YouTube tends to unsubscribe people. Yeah, it's just real nice, these little getaways, only they're too short. I could, it's just not convenient for me to do it, and I don't need to spend money when I've got a home about 60 miles away from here, but I wish I could stay down here for about a week, just chill out. Do something different, see something different. I'd probably even end up going over to the beach at some point. But anyhow, like I say, talking about everyday practical raw food tips here. How's everybody doing? We're what, 2 weeks into the new year now. So is everything working out like everybody planned? Are you still gung-ho? Are you still full on charging ahead with your program? Or have you already encountered some problems? Which is to be expected. Basically I've talked about this in videos before, and that's why I just kind of like to keep pounding that simple message. Doing the raw food diet, or really doing everything in life, if you will think like this, you'll be successful in a lot of different ways, is problem solving. It's just problem solving. When a fire comes up, you put it out. How do you deal with it? Now, one thing you don't do, are you doing the same thing over and over and over? When you have like say something's not working out, let's say the weight's not coming off like you want it to be, your skin's not clearing up, or you're just not you're not able to stick to a raw diet, whether you're trying to do fully raw or whether you're just trying to do high raw. Maybe you slip and maybe you're eating things that you really don't want to, you shouldn't, but what are you gonna do? Well, what you do is you make adjustments. I'll make some football analogies here since we're in the playoffs. I was watching a little football last night. Watched the Falcons get beat. Congrats to the Eagles. But anyhow, you know what coaches do? This is perfect. This is a perfect analogy right now for this and problem solving. When teams, if you're not from the States, American football, they have halftime, what's called halftime. And at halftime can be very crucial because the good coaches, they know what to do in that locker room at halftime. And what do they do? They simply problem solve. It's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. They go into the locker room and they break everything down. They take everything that didn't work in that first half, every problem that was had in that first half, and they solve it. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Here, so-and-so wasn't making the tackles. Boom, you fill this hole, you set this gap. And the good coaches are able to do that, and after people come out, people will remark, oh wow, he really lit a fire under him in the locker room. Most of the time, all he's doing is problem solving. Problem solving 101. Whatever's not working for you, sit down with it. Stop all this dramatic, oh, I fell off my program, and getting all weepy and trying to do the confession and the come to Jesus on Facebook. Sit down, be logical about it, and troubleshoot. What caused you to fall short, wherever it is you fell short, or whatever you feel like didn't work for you. Do you get, I've mentioned this so many times over and over and over. Do you get hungry every morning, mid-morning? You have that lull in between breakfast and when you're going to have your midday meal. That's very, very simple. You plan a snack, or you have something available for that time right next to you. You remember how people used to, or people probably still do. They have cigarettes. They have little tricks and little tips that what they do, when they have that craving. So if you know that every morning around 10:30 or 11 o'clock, breakfast kind of wears off, it's too early for you to leave for lunch, or either it's not convenient to have lunch right then, you need something to get you through. So you have something, and you don't just have something roughly around, keep it right there if you have to. If you have to, have you a snack on your desk at work, or have you a snack wherever you are, so as soon as everything, you start wavering a little bit, boom, you pick that up and eat it. You do it in the afternoon. If you eat something, this is simple. Go by how your body feels, and go by the bad reactions you have to certain things. I don't get this one. I mean, I eat certain things, and I'm not like one of these purists, and oh my God, I eat things that people would be like, oh my God, you eat that? Especially while I'm here in the States. But I always have these boundaries, and I always am like, okay, well, how did this make me feel? How can I bounce back? But I'll tell you this, if I eat something and it really does a number on me, that's simple. It's been reinforced right there. I got the lesson plain and simple. I just don't do it anymore. So a lot of this stuff, if you just kind of get out of your head and get out of all this knowledge and, oh, am I doing this right? Am I getting enough? Am I going to get my protein here? Oh, am I eating too much of this? Am I eating too many bananas? Is it going to be sweet, blah, blah, blah? If you'll just kind of get out of your head and look at this thing with a pragmatic approach, or just a logical approach, and simply solve the problems. Don't get dramatic. Don't get, don't pat yourself on the back if you've been good for 2 or 3 weeks. Just keep moving forward. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is just solve problems. That's all this lifestyle really is. I've been around people, like I've told you a number of times, I just kind of like to watch and observe behavior, because you can learn stuff from that, and you can learn what works by what you see people do, and you can learn what doesn't work. But what doesn't work, and I see it, and it's just frustrating, especially, and sometimes those are the people that tend to kind of become invisible, because they've asked the same questions to the same people over and over and over. You get an answer and you don't seem to be doing it or responding to that, so it's kind of, after a while, people are like, well, they're just not going to get it. If you're not doing something different, that's the definition of insanity, isn't that right? I think that quote is attributed to Albert Einstein, but it's not really an Einstein quote. But here it is. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So many people I've watched on this lifestyle over the past 5.5 years, almost 6 that I've been doing it, and they just kind of keep doing the same thing over. They're almost like a broken record, or they're on a merry-go-round that's just doing the same thing. Oh, well, this didn't work. And you come back and they did it again. Oh, well, this isn't working. And they're just kind of, like I say, banging that head against the wall like bam, bam, bam. And they think that the things that they've done a dozen, 2 dozen, however many times, are just going to all of a sudden kind of slip into place and start working. I mean, think about it. Take the food out of it. In any approach to anything else, somebody's working on your car, somebody's doing something, building something, how would that mentality work in any other facet of life? It wouldn't. So just everyday practical stuff. Grind this thing out. Do it day by day. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. And like I say, when it's not that hard if you're not trying to be perfect. I think a lot of people out there say, well, maybe when I say it's not that hard, they're like, yeah, and this, and they kind of waffle around on that. But no, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Maybe you have to make adjustments. And I'm not saying you have to be fully raw. Once again, fully raw is never my message on this channel. But even in the dead of winter, with a little bit of work and a little bit of problem solving in there, you can stay on track. You can stay on track all the time. Anyhow, just my 2 cents worth. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again tomorrow when I'm back home. Peace.